Welcome to Jamie TV and thank you for tuning in. Cubasis 3.7 is here, and this is probably the most exciting piece of news I've had the opportunity to share ever since I started making iOS music videos. We have a signature and tempo track. So now you can change tempo or time signature as many times as you like through your project. You can change the tempo suddenly, like immediately, or you can ramp it over time like this. There is of course some other stuff to look at as well, but this is the big one, so let's get stuck into this tempo and signature track and have a look at how this works. This is a piece of music I'm working on using the beta version of Iconica Sketch in Cubasis 3, which Steinberg aimed to release at the same time as this Cubasis 3.7 update. I'm using the beta for that too. It works as a standalone app featuring 34 different orchestral instruments, but it's also an AV3 that will work in any iOS DAW. Android users will also be able to purchase it in the Cubasis 3 store, and it will work natively in Cubasis 3. I wanted to feature these spectacular sounds here, but to find out more about Iconica Sketch, please check out my other video, link at the end of this video. Now when this piece gets to here, I want the tempo to drop from 100 beats per minute, which the project is set to up here, down to about 60 beats per minute, I think. So we need to add a tempo track, which we do down here. Click Add, select Global. Tempo and signature tracks will always be added at the top of the project. You can see here we have a tempo track and here, time signature track. Let's go back to tempo and switch it on. And let's make it all big. I'll select Draw and add a node at bar 44. In this window to the side here, you can see the tempo of the project starts at 100 beats per minute from bar 1. And at bar 44, it will drop immediately to this tempo. I want that to be around 60, so I go to Select and I'm going to press this button here, which means I will only be able to move this node on the Y axis. Now I can grab it and move it, and you can see the tempo changing displayed here and here. And if using this method to set a precise tempo is a little bit of a pissy pants about and a faff and a fiddle, just tap the window here and use the plus and minus. Or tap again to type in an exact value.
Excellent.
But really, I'd like the orchestra to gradually slow down to this point, beginning at bar 35. But this time, I'm going to add my node a different way. I'll put my playhead here to bar 35 and click plus, just here to add a node. That's the correct tempo anyway, so now all I need to do is to select this node and press ramp. Actually, I've changed my mind. I think I want the ramp to start at bar 39. So I'll select this node and move X, and now I can only move along the X-axis. That was hard to say. X-axis. Sounds like a Doctor Who baddie. Now Cubasis 3.7 does not offer curves for this ramp, but if I zoom in, take off snap to grid, you'll see it's very possible to create one with multiple nodes. If you decide they're wrong, grab select, lasso them, erase, and try again. And if you get a little overexcited and end up with this, you can always use reduce and get rid of a few million nodes. And if you decide the whole thing was a bad plot anyway, just double tap the screen and erase. Or we can simply switch off tempo track, and time and tempo global tracks can also be deleted just like any other track down here. Before I show you the time signature track, I'm just going to talk to you about the sounds that I'm going to be using whilst demonstrating it. In the Cubasis 3 store, you can make an in-app purchase for FM classics. Now looking at the interface here, it's giving off serious Yamaha DX7 vibes. And there's a good reason for that, because this is basically a player that comes with the original 128 factory DX7 sounds, divided into 4 ROMs, each containing 32 sounds. And there are also 4 more ROMs, each containing 32 original factory sounds from the Yamaha TX81Z. With the Cubasis 3.7 update, Steinberg have added 12 more ROMs from the popular VRC range. These were cards that you could purchase to use with your DX7 to add more sounds, and they can be pretty expensive to get hold of these days. All the sounds included are the same sounds in the same order as they were originally made. This means that Steinberg have added 384 new old sounds to this in-app purchase for no extra cost. Now, I obviously don't have time to demo them all in this video, but I've picked some out to play for you and to use to demo the time signature track to give you a flavour of what's on offer. In this project, I have 3 short examples of different time signatures at 3 different tempos. I have the tempo signature track minimized to save screen real estate. To bring it back, I just click on the 3 dots up here. Let's hear this 5/4 groove. And this one is in 7/8, my favourite odd time signature. And finally, an 80s horror theme in the extremely ungroovy 11/8. Using the time signature track is about as difficult as putting on a hat. Let's go to bar 34 here and select draw, and click. For the top number for the time signature, you can select whatever number you like. The numbers available at the bottom are 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32 and 64. Let's go with a 5/4 groove because it makes for a nice demo. And just to show you, just like with the tempo track, in this sidebar there's a list of time signature events which can be edited by clicking on them, and we can add new ones like this or remove them like this or like this. Now let's grab our handles and wrap them around this bar, and I'll click here to add 1 bar of kick drum. If I now go into that MIDI, you'll see we have grid divisions for 5 quarter notes or crotchets. Let's put a couple of kicks in here. And then we'll go and add a wood block. Now I'll go to the bass and select 8th notes or quavers, but of course in 5/4 there will be 10 of them. And we'll add some lovely bass. I can add as many time signature and tempo changes to a project as I like, but they are locked to the beginning of the bar. I can't sort of add one part way through. Okay, it's time for Hippie Conclusions, and obviously it's a foregone conclusion here that I'm absolutely ecstatic. I couldn't be happier if I was stranded alone on an island made entirely from cake. I've been banging on about this for the longest time, I've been using Cubasis forever, and whilst you could possibly say that there's some other functionality missing from this app, there's a workaround for everything, or there's a third-party app that I can use to make it do what I want it to do. But that lack of tempo and time signature track has meant that for me, there's been some projects I've just not been able to use the software for. So now that it's here and it's very well implemented, and by the way, I'm loving the new sounds, I'm over the moon. So I guess now the conversation begins, what do we want next? I know some people would like to see a deeper, more involved sampler. A lot of people talk about a drum editor. I mean, groove agent, that'd be nice. And I think for me personally, I'd like a more involved mixing desk. I'd particularly like to be able to set up my own send channels. So, what does this update mean to you? And what would you like to see added to Cubasis 3 next? Thank you very much for watching. If you have any questions, by the way, about this video or anything else about music, comment below, I always reply. Until my next video, take care of yourselves, be kind, be good, make lots of music, and do try not to pissy pants about. I'll see you later.